Hey guys, Mark here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make high converting ads for your branded dropshipping business that have made me over $542,000. The biggest mistake that I see people make is actually twofold. The first biggest mistake that they make is they try to reinvent the wheel, right? And this is one of the worst things that you can do, because if you're just starting out, you want to minimize the variables that you have that are keeping you from making money. And one of those variables is trying to just make ads that you think are going to convert. Don't think, okay? You want to look at what is already working and simply add your own unique twist to it, right? Take the concepts that are already working for other people and then make them work for yourself. And the second mistake that I see people make that just drives me crazy is they try to rip content, meaning they'll find an ads are performing and they'll literally steal it one for one. Now, this is a terrible strategy, because dating all the way back to when Facebook ads starts, if you rip somebody's content, Facebook will be able to tell. They save something on your ad called metadata. And metadata is specific data associated with the image or video ad that you're running. So if Facebook sees that you stole somebody's ad, all they'll do is shut down your ad account, reject the ad, or worse, just completely restrict you from advertising altogether. And now, fast forward to 2025, they're using AI to do this as well. So even if you try to get around the metadata policies, if they see that you're using stolen content, it's just a terrible way to get your brand off the ground, and you're putting yourself at a lot of risk. So what we're going to do instead is a simple 4-step process to create winning ads, okay? Step number 1 is going to be to swipe. And what swiping is simply finding a pre-existing creative that you can already prove with data is converting at scale, right? You don't want to reinvent the wheel. You want to take the concepts of ads that are already working and simply apply those to your brand. The second step that you're going to do is actually script the ad. This is probably the most important thing when it comes to making high converting ads, is to script, meaning the hook, the body, and the call to action. Every single ad in the history of planet Earth has those 3 elements. You can break them down into sub-elements, but every single one has a hook, which is the first 3 to 5 seconds of the ad. There's the body section, and then there's a call to action to actually get people to click. So that's going to be the second step. The third step is going to be to source, right? And this is when you actually get the content that you need in order to put the ad together. Because if you just have a script, you need to match that with video or image content using either AI or using actual real content out on the internet in order to create your high converting ad. And then after you have all those pieces, you just want to put it all together and actually edit the ad to perfection. And if you want to add a little bonus step here, it's just a freaking scale. Like, as soon as you have that winning ad, you start to see some good data, spend more money, run more ads. So I'm going to walk you through my entire process step by step over the shoulder, so you can see what I'm personally doing with me and my team just to pump out, 20, 30 creatives minimum per week per dropshipping business that I'm currently running right now. So let's start with step number 1, which is swipe. The whole purpose of swiping is to find something that's already converting so that you can model it and to create your own script from it. And so the criteria that you really want to look for is, number 1, you want to make sure that the brand that you're actually modeling is doing at least like 300,000 visits per month to their website. This means that the brand is validated, the product is validated, the market is validated, and most importantly, the ad is validated. Now, in order to find how many visits a brand is doing per month, you can use an extension like SimilarWeb, what I got right up here, in order to actually prove how many visitors are visiting that store. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hop into one of my favorite tools called Get Hooked. It's actually a software that I built over the past year that I use internally, and you guys can get completely full access to it for free for 14 days if you just click the first link in the description. All right, so we're here inside of Get Hooked. What you want to do is navigate to the Explore section, and you'll see over here on the left, there's all of these filters that you can use. So the Explore section is basically like the Facebook ads library, but on steroids, because you can add all these filters to only find the ads that you can prove are actually winning right now. So let me show you the filters that I like to use. Under performance, you're going to select winning, so that these are only the ads that are currently winning for the brands. Under ad format, we're going to select video. Under status, we only want to select ads that are still running, because we don't want to find old ads that are not proven, that are selling right now in this moment. We want to find ads that are only running right now. Under niche, we're going to keep that empty. Runtime, these ads have to be running for a minimum of 7 days. Next, under language, we're simply gonna select English. Now, under platform, you wanna select Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok ads. I'm not interested in organic content at this point, because having a piece of organic content and paid content that converts, 2 completely separate things. Under start date, you can leave that empty. Under creative usage, I want to select 5. And what this means is how many ads in the ad library are actually using that exact creative. Because if it's just one creative in the ad library, that's not really proven. But if the competitor is using this ad over and over and over again, you can assume that this is probably an ad that's actually getting a sufficient amount of spend. Next, under video length, I want to select 1 to 3 minutes. Now again, guys, I'm going through these filters as if I was doing it myself. You can play around with all these. These are not, hard and fast rules that you have to follow 100% of the time. but these are just the ones that I like to set up in order to find the best ads possible. Now that we have all the filters set up, I'm gonna just continue to scroll down this line until I see a product or an ad that really catches my eye, okay? So I'm just gonna spend some time scrolling here, scrolling until I see one that I know for a fact is proven based off of a series of metrics. And I'm gonna tell you what those metrics are in just 1 second. So this ad right here by Try Spartan actually caught my eye. So I'm gonna click details right here. And this is one of the coolest things about Get Hooked is that you can actually see all the details about this ad. You can see the ad copy, you can see the creative itself, you can see, you can download the ad if you want, the ad copy. Everything is here that you could possibly need, even the transcript, right? So here's the full transcript of the ad. Now I'll just play the first 5 to 10 seconds of this ad so you guys can get an idea for what's being sold here.
How is it that celebrities like Elton John, Kevin Costner, or Joe Buck seem to have perfect hair well into their 50s and 60s? Is it genetics?
So there's the hook right there. Obviously very strong because this hook is using something called familiarity bias, which is where you're actually referencing and leveraging the credibility of other people for your own brand, because people can immediately identify with these celebrities and it just helps them understand exactly what the product is that's being sold and the problem that's being solved. Now, this is really important. Another reason that I say that this ad is winning is because if you hover over right here, you can see how many ads are currently active in the ad library of this competitor. So in this case, it's 929 current winning active ads. Your KPI that you're looking for here is at least 30. So in this case, we're like well over 10x the KPI. So this is a winning ad. We can prove it. And it's currently being spent at a high budget for this particular competitor. Now, one of my favorite parts about Get Hooked is that you can actually spy on competitors and understand exactly the top angles that they are using to be successful. So let me show you how to do that. What you can do is navigate over to Brand Spy. And I already saved this brand right here, Try Spartan. And look, you can see over the past few months, they have tested 4,924 ads. So if you're sitting back and you're like, Mark, I'm trying to make this e-com thing work. I can't make it work, blah, 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 blah. Guess what? You're not testing enough creative. This is your competition right here. Tested almost 5,000 ads, okay? I say this constantly, but the whole winning product thing, it's so irrelevant. If you want a competitive advantage, compete on creatives, because this guy right here, this brand, is your competition. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go and test 5,000 ads. I'm just putting it in perspective, right? Dropshipping exists in this weird vacuum where you're just convinced that the only way to be successful is a product. That's clearly not entirely true. With this brand here, you can see they've just been testing creatives like crazy. And when you look at the trend of ads launched in the past 4 months, you always want to see this going up, right? And if I were to draw some kind of like linear regression line here, they're constantly increasing the number of creatives that they are testing every single month. I'm filming this on January 22nd, and they filmed 1,100 ads just this month. So they are clearly scaling, which is a good, very, very good sign. You can also see the top landing pages that they're sending traffic to. And my personal favorite is the hook. So what you can do is you can actually see all the top hooks that this brand is currently running and how long they've been running. So typically, a lot of times the hooks that have been running for a longer period of time, those are the most proven and validated hooks that you can use. So we're gonna use all of this for inspiration in the future. And if you wanna see all the ads as well, you can always just scroll down and see all the ads for this particular brand. Now at this point, if we go back to our checklist, right? Our goal was to find an ad that we can prove is currently selling at a high volume. And one of the ways to do that is to make sure, number one, that the brand is validated itself. So we wanna see at least 300,000 visits per month for this particular brand. So what you can do is click on any of the landing pages that this brand is running traffic to and just pop open your similar web extension. You can see that, number one, holy shit, like these guys are scaling incredibly aggressively. They went from 41,000 visits in a single month all the way to over 600,000 visitors. Now you can kind of estimate like the level of revenue that they're doing based off their visitors. It's not always a one-to-one like dollar to visitor ratio, but typically it's anywhere from like a 0.5 to 2x ratio in terms of their monthly revenue. So these guys are clearly validated. The brand is doing really well, and my God, are they fucking scaling aggressively. Like this is a really good sign for us because we're looking at the brands that are already validated, the ads that are already validated. So what I want to do is I'm actually going to go back to that ad here, and I actually want to analyze this with you because when it comes to making winning ads, like I said in the intro, there's really 3 elements to a winning ad, right? You have the hook, you have the body, and you have the call to action. But what most people don't talk about is actually how to create those hooks, bodies, and call to actions and why they're successful in the first place. And guys, look, if I were to put this in perspective to you, the number one most impactful thing in the success of your ads is your creatives, and 90% of the success of your creative, it's the hook, right? So this right here is like 90% of your success. So when it comes to like writing and creating new ads from scratch, you want to put the far majority of the effort that you're putting into it on the hook. That is where you should be spending your time. It's like the headline of a sales letter or the lead of a VSL. It's by far the most important part of the ad, because if you don't get them hooked, if you don't get them in the first initial part of the ad, you're going to lose them, okay? And so your job is to, as aggressively as possible, capture their interest, capture their desire in the first, 3 to 10-ish seconds, it kind of depends, of the ad. So let me break it down for you. When it comes to making a hook, right? The hook is the first 3 to 5 seconds of an ad, but what most people don't realize is that there's 3 elements to the hook, right? You have the copy itself, which is, basically the script, right? It's typically the first 1 to 2 sentences of a winning ad. So the hook in this case lasts around 8 seconds, okay? So it's not always the first 3 to 5 seconds of the ad, but in this case, it's the first 8 seconds, right? But that's just the copy. Now, the second part of the hook is going to be what I call the actual video. So a lot of people call this the scroll stopper as well. But the hook, which is made up of these 3 elements, it is an audio-visual experience, which means there's the visual aspect, which is going to be the text overlay and the video that's on the screen, as well as the audio, which is going to be the copy portion that's actually read out loud, as well as the third part of the ad, which is, of course, the audio. So this is if it's being, voiced over by, a voiceover actor, or if you're using AI, whatever it is, these are the 3 elements of a creative. And if I were to rank these, number 1, most important, is going to be the copy. That's why right after this, I'm actually going to show you how to script the ad from scratch. Because if you don't get the copy right, if you don't get the script right, everything else is going to fail. Even the most perfect scroll stopper, like the most perfect video in the first 3 to 5 seconds of the ad, it's never going to make up for bad copy, okay? And again, this is why we're not reinventing the wheel. We're finding a successful ad, we're swiping it, and then we're rewriting it based off of proven mechanisms. Now, if the hook is 90% of the success of the ad, then the other 10%, which again, it sounds pretty crazy, like 10% of the ad is like actually 90% of the actual content, but the hook is so freaking crucial, guys. I can't even state it enough. You need to be extremely creative and aggressive with getting people's attention in that first 3 to 5 seconds. I'll show you how to do that in just a second, but I just want to make sure that principle gets through to your head. And then the other 10% is going to be the body of the ad, followed by, at the very end, of course, like the call to action. Now, it's pretty difficult to mess up the call to action. The body can be a little tricky, but let me actually show you how to shortcut this entire process so that you can do it from scratch. After you have this ad saved within Get Hooked, what you're gonna do is scroll to the very top and select Use for Brief. So this feature basically will take an existing ad, and it's actually gonna walk you through the steps of rewriting the ad, rewriting the transcript here, as you can see to the right, and using it for your specific product. Now, very important caveat here. If you're selling, let's say, a beauty product, right? This product in this case is a hair growth product. You do not have to swipe an ad that is like direct competition. For example, a lot of times I find like new winning ads and new winning angles based off of competition in horizontal industries, horizontal markets. What I mean by that is if I were selling like a pet product, for example, you can swipe from the health industry. You can swipe from the beauty industry. You can swipe from the pain relief industry. It doesn't really matter because the concepts are typically still the same. In fact, a lot of times I'll find new winning ads. I'll create new winning ads because I'm not just obsessed with my own market. I'm willing to go outside of what everybody else is doing and actually swipe from completely different industries. I think that's a huge competitive advantage that not a lot of people do. So we're gonna select Use for Brief right here. We're gonna select whatever folder you want a part of and select Done. Now, the cool part about Get Hooked is that it's gonna take you through this whole process of rewriting this ad for your particular product. Now, in this case, I don't have a product that I'm actually trying to sell, so I'm just gonna make up one, just a standard dropshipping product that you guys have probably heard before. And the product that I'm gonna use is going to be this pore cleaning vacuum. Now, what I'm not gonna do, again, because I talk about this all the time, you don't wanna enter like a super saturated market and sell the same way with the same angle to the same people. So in order to sell this to a different group of people, I'm gonna use a different angle. Instead of using this product to like get rid of blackheads, for example, I'm gonna specifically target women that are a little bit older and they're dealing with hormonal acne going through menopause. So this is typically women between the ages of like 45 and 60, generally like menopause and perimenopause, because a lot of women will actually get acne as they get older, which is really frustrating. But because of what's going on during menopause, all the hormones are completely just out of whack, which oftentimes causes acne. So that's a unique angle that I'm going to use for this particular product. And I think it's a fantastic market to go after. All right, so I just wrote a few sentences here for the product description, the target audience. So the brand is Minnow Beauty, Pore Cleaner Pro, women struggling with hormonal acne during menopause, ages 45 to 65. For the product description, I would recommend writing at least 3 sentences here, but again, with AI, anytime that you're using it, and if you want to get the best results, the more data points you can give it, the more inputs you can give it, the better your output is going to be. So I ended up writing, I think around like 5 sentences here, specifically targeting women going through menopause who are struggling with hormonal acne, okay? So what I'm gonna do is keep the creative score rate at 0.7. If the cool part is like, if you wanna make this ad highly, highly creative and get a little bit more away from the transcript, you can simply adjust the slider right here. But let's stick with 0.7. It's usually a good place to start. And we're just gonna hit write script. Now, while this is writing the script, what it's doing is pulling the existing transcript and rewriting it based off the inputs that you gave it. Now, the cool part here is that, again, you're not reinventing the wheel. You're taking a script, an ad that is already proven to convert, and you're simply rewriting it with your target market and your product description in mind. So as you can see, that was really fast actually, because typically like the longer the ad, the more time it takes, but that was very, very quick. So we have the hook right here. How is it that women like Helen Mirren, Michelle Obama, and Jane Seymour have such radiant, clear skin during menopause? Is it magic? Is it expensive treatments? Or is it a secret they haven't yet shared, right? Really, really cool hook. And if you're like, I'm not really a fan of that hook, you can just click this button right here and you have 3 other hooks that you can choose from. I think this one is pretty good because it's referencing the exact person within our existing target market. Notice how it didn't say like, do you want to have skin like Elton John or Kevin Costner? Because that obviously would not market the avatar that we're going after. But here, it kept it the exact same. And the same thing with the body here. While most of us are left battling with stubborn acne and uneven skin, you might have noticed that some women appearing everything. Okay, I'm not gonna read the entire thing, but as you can see, it rewrote the entire script. And that took maybe 20 or 30 seconds to go through the whole thing. So this is super, super awesome. It's a really fast tool. And if at any point, if you don't like anything, even the hooks, you can just hit regenerate and it'll recreate the body based off the inputs that you already gave it. So if there's ever a point where you don't like how the ad sounds or the script, you can simply regenerate it and it'll take another probably 20 to, well, never mind. It goes as fast as that. And the cool part is, like I said here, there's this creative score section here. So if you want to make an ad more creative and you want it to deviate more so from the input that you gave it, you can simply slide this slider up, right? So let's test it out at a 1.0 instead of at a 0.7. And you'll notice it'll get more creative. It'll venture away from the existing script that we gave it in the first place. So as you can see, the hook is now just a little bit different, right? It's not mentioning those specific characters like that initial one did. I actually like the original one better. So I'm gonna bring that right back to 0.7. I really love the idea of referencing celebrities that our target market also looks up to, because you're basically creating this feeling inside the prospect of status, because they're now comparing themselves to these figures that are the people that they really look up to. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna copy this entire script and throw it into a little Google Doc so I can see it all together and read it out loud. All right, so now we have the full transcript right here. Now you'll notice, Mark, holy shit, this is like a pretty fucking long script. And yeah, that's because it's modeling the example that we gave it. If we inputted, 45-second ad script as a swipe, then it's gonna do the exact same thing, but with a 45-second ad. In this case, this was more so of a VSL ad, right? It ended up being around 2 minutes, but now we have the full transcript right here. Now, there's a really, really important step here that I want you to keep in mind. Anytime that, like if you were to go learn copywriting from some of the best copywriters in history, what they'll tell you is that actually writing the copy is typically the easy part, right? It's all like the creative side of your brain, the right side of your brain, and you're just kind of flowing onto the paper. What they really emphasize is that the real work is done in the copy chiefing. And the copy chiefing is the process of reading the copy out loud over and over and over again. And what I do is actually take this copy and I put it in like 11 labs and I'll hear the AI read it out loud. And what you'll notice is there's going to be specific parts of that ad that just don't really flow very well. And so I would repeat this process like 3 to 5 times, read it out loud, have AI read it out loud to you, and you'll be able to pick out a few points that the copy isn't really as smooth as you want it to be. The copy that you're writing, it should basically represent like a slippery slide, right? It's just flowing from one to the next. There's no bumps in the slide. It's just naturally flowing off the tongue. That's what you want with the chiefing process. If you guys want like a full document on how I recommend that you chief copy, you can just DM me the word chief on Instagram. My Instagram is @MarkBuildsBrands and I'll send you the document for free. But now that we have the full transcript, now we can move on to the next step. So at this point, we have the swipe and we wrote the script. And what I would also highly recommend you do before we move on to the source step is you always want to test with at least 3 different hooks. Like I said, the hook is typically the part of the ad that that has the most amount of power, right? 90% of your success. So when you're testing ads on Facebook or on TikTok, you don't want to just test with one. You want to test with a minimum of 3. And the biggest variable in your success of a creative is what? The hook. So you want to test with the same body and CTA, but with 3 separate hooks. And so I would just take those 3 hooks that Get Hooked gave me and makes 3 separate ads for that, so that when you test, you can kind of test 3 different angles. So now we're going to move on to step number 3, which is actually sourcing the content for this particular ad. Now, to actually grab the content for the ad, right? You have the script, now you just need to get the content in place before you edit it. What I highly recommend you do is use a combination of 3 different types of content, okay? The first type of content is going to be AI UGC. Now, the reason I say AI is because it's super, super cheap, and you can basically tell AI to speak whatever you want out loud to you. And if you use the right tool, there's basically no distinguishment between the AI avatar and a real avatar. And even if there is, you're kind of like, oh, I can kind of tell it's AI, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't test it. I see a lot of ads right now that are running with AI avatars that are scaling like crazy. You can tell, like if you look close enough, you can tell, okay, obviously that's AI. So don't immediately discredit it because it doesn't look one-to-one human. Still test it. And if you're really, really worried, you can simply go to Fiverr instead and just hire somebody to speak your script out loud and pay for UGC content. And it'll maybe cost you like, I don't know, 50 to $100 per script. It's very, very cheap, but it also depends on how long the script is itself. The second type of content you want to use is going to be B-roll. Now, B-roll is basically copyright-free content that is going to go in between the AI UGC that you already have created. So my favorite place to go to get this B-roll content is Gridbank. Now, full transparency, I have no relationship with these guys. I just like their platform, and I think you can get a lot of really good content from it. And so you can search this platform, for example, in this case, like we're running a skincare product. So you can just search like skincare, for example, and immediately you have all these pieces of content that you can use completely free, copyright free. And it's not super expensive, right? It's just something that you have an unlimited access to. Your other option for the B-roll is to simply search on the internet for copyright free B-roll that you can use in your ad. So that's gonna be the second type of content that you can source. And then the third and final piece of content that you wanna have in your ad is going to be actual product B-roll. So this is gonna be content that is actually with the product, like people holding the product, filming with the product. And typically what you can do is you can source this on the internet, just make sure that you have the permission to use the content, or same concept as above, you can just ship the product to somebody on Fiverr and they can film all types of content with it. Now, this is always the method that I recommend people start with because, like I said, one of the first rules that I said in this video is you don't want to rip shit. You don't want to rip people's ads because number one, I believe that anything that you do in the world is going to come back to you, right? The universe is a mere reflection, and whatever you put out is exactly what you're going to get back. So if you rip somebody, they're going to come and rip you. And typically it's just a zero-sum game. Like you're not going to end up in a good spot. So I always recommend going the route of custom content, typically from scratch. And as you can see, like you can do it for very cheap. All of this will cost you at max like $100 to $300 to get your first ad test done. Plus, oftentimes what works really, really well is you just order the product yourself and film some content with it. I mean, the amount of tools that you can do this with is insane, but just go to Amazon, buy the unbranded version of the product and take photos, take videos, have your family take photos and videos, and you can get all that done for basically nothing. All you need to do is have an iPhone with a reasonably good camera, and you can make all this content yourself. Now, one other thing, if you guys are wondering what AI UGC service to use, this is another thing that we recently built in to Get Hooked. So what you can do, if you navigate over to the left here, you can select UGC AI video. And what you can do is you hit generate new AI video up at the top, and you can follow this process step by step. You're gonna paste in your script, you're gonna paste in any content that you have, and it's literally gonna put together the full ad for you. Now, in my experience, it's not gonna get the ad to like 100%, like it's ready to throw in the ads manager and start scaling. But what I would do is just get the raw AI UGC content so you can piece it together in the exact way that you want. You can edit the clips yourself or send it to an editor. But this is a fantastic tool in order to get the AI UGC content so that you can put together the best ad possible. All right, back to our list here. We now have the swipe, we have the script, we have the source content. All that's left at this point is to simply edit all the content together. Now with this step, there's really two options, right? You can go the free route, in which case I would recommend downloading CapCut for desktop, and you can piece together all of this content yourself. Just keep in mind, you wanna model what's already working. So I would go back to that swipe that we saved, look at the specific clips that they're using in order to put together the content and model it. I'm not saying swipe it one-to-one, but model it, right? Take the philosophy, take the why. Why is that specific clip converting? Why is this particular style of ad text converting? And you want to use that when it comes to creating your ad. Now, what I like to do, because, obviously I'm not going to spend my time editing ads. I have a team to do it for me, is I'll have my team do it. But obviously I know a lot of people watching this video, you don't have a team yet, and that's okay. If you want to go the paid route, however, same concept as normal. You can just gather the script, gather all the B-roll, all the source content that you have, and just go to Fiverr and find somebody to do this for you for like $100. So you can simply go to Fiverr, search something like dropshipping video ad. And what I would highly recommend, as you can see, a lot of the ads that you see on this screen here, just that they used as example, they're so super spammy and they're probably just gonna source content themselves. I would vow to just try to find a good editor, period. I really believe that right now, the more minimalistic ads and actually less edited ads are the ones that are performing best. So the closer that you can get to that raw content, just with some basic cuts and captions, that's a fantastic place to start. You don't have to go overboard with the editing, like these emojis and shit. Like this is super, super old and like 2018 type dropshipping videos. That's not what I'd recommend. Keep it simple, okay? You wanna have a really good script, which you already wrote. You want to have a really good scroll stopper. That first video that you're using, it should just be like shocking to the point where you're just sucked in to continue watching it, and then have some AI voiceover. It's really as simple as that. And so now, guys, what I'm going to do is a special treat. I'm actually going to send this script here that we wrote together inside of Get Hooked. I'm going to send this to my team along with the source content that I found for this particular product. And I'm going to put together an entire ad as if I was actually doing it myself. So I'm going to fast forward to that point and actually show you the ultimate finished version of this ad so that we can look at it together.
How do women like Helen Mirren or Oprah maintain that flawless glow during menopause? Is it magic skincare, a secret potion, or is there something they're not telling us? While many of us are battling the pesky signs of menopausal skin, those stubborn hormonal breakouts and uneven spots, there's a secret the fashion world's beauty icons have been keeping. They walk the red carpet with flawless, glowing skin that defies age. How do they do it? The answer lies in a powerful yet gentle solution designed just for women facing the challenges of menopause. Introducing the Meno Beauty Pore Cleaner Pro. This isn't just another skincare gadget on the market. It's a breakthrough device that uses cutting-edge Italian pore detox technology. In just 2 minutes a week, it clears away blackheads and whiteheads and reduces those frustrating hormonal breakouts. Imagine looking in the mirror and seeing smoother skin, fine lines softened, and pores that seem to vanish. It's like turning back the clock on your complexion. With ingredients and technology made for mature skin, the Pore Cleaner Pro doesn't irritate, even if your skin is sensitive. It's like having a personal spa treatment at home. The device comes with an Acne Plus Lift Kit, complete with special nozzles that exfoliate, brighten, and target wrinkles. Plus, there's an easy-to-follow guide that helps you get that youthful, even complexion everyone will notice. Until recently, this secret was only shared among top beauty experts and select insiders. But now you can achieve that same radiant skin. The Pore Cleaner Pro is backed by a 90-day clear skin guarantee and offers lifetime support from skincare experts. This means you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Imagine your friends' reactions when they see your skin glowing and youthful. No more hiding behind makeup, no more feeling self-conscious in social situations, just pure confidence and the joy of knowing your skin looks its best. You don't have to spend a fortune or endure harsh treatments, just a simple, effective routine with the Pore Cleaner Pro, and your skin will thank you. And the best part, this life-changing device is surprisingly affordable. I got mine at a great deal, and if it didn't live up to the hype, I could return it within 90 days, no questions asked. My only regret, not discovering it sooner. Don't wait to reclaim your skin's natural beauty and confidence. Don't let skincare myths and overpriced treatments drain your wallet. Transform your skin with the Meno Beauty Pore Cleaner Pro, the ultimate solution for radiant, youthful skin during menopause. Get your kit today.
And that's basically it. At this point, you have the full ad put together, and all you had to do is use this awesome software that I built. I know it's a shameless plug, but this makes the entire process so much easier. And this is what I'm actually doing internally in my own businesses. Like, I'm having my team use this software to find the ads, to get the content, do everything A to Z, right? I would never recommend something to you guys that I don't personally use. And I want to give you guys a special 14-day free trial. So make sure if you don't like it, cancel it. No problem whatsoever. But if you want to get access, just click the first link in the description and you can get 14 days free. The final note that I want to leave you guys with about testing creatives is that a lot of times it is so easy for you to, put through, all this work of finding the ad, swiping it, writing the script, putting together the editing, and actually testing the ad. And then guess what? It doesn't work. And I'm here to tell you, it's all part of the process. It's part of the game. And that's why you can use tools like Get Hooked, just increase the volume of creatives that you're actually testing, because yes, you're one product away from completely changing your life, but you're also one creative away. You're one ad away. That's why my whole credo is run more ads. All it takes is one ad to change your life. So even if you do a test, you want to do what, right? Even if you lose money, you're not really losing money because you're buying data, okay? So run the ads, get the data, and then make adjustments. Maybe one angle is converting better than another, and so you double down on that angle and create some new hooks and variations based off the angle that was proven to convert based off of the ad data that you spent. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about this process, just drop them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer just about every single comment that I can. I did my best to make this video as valuable as possible, so whatever question you have, just drop them below. Get your Get Hooked trial, first link in the description. Other than that, guys, I'll see you in the next video.